Welcome back to the Ark Survival Guide. We're here with another episode of our Crystal Isles Let's Play series, and we are actually progressing our adventure finally. So our baby dinos are grown up well enough that we can leave the base behind and go on another expedition. And today we are going to go out into a really dangerous area near the jungle and see if we can find some plant species X seeds so we can make some organic vegan turrets which will destroy our enemies and get us all the food we need. So on the way out there, we're going to build a little outpost in the jungle and show you a really cool spot where you can get tons of obsidian and metal, and then we're going to show you where to find plant species X seeds on the Crystal Isles map really easily, and in about as safe a spot as you can get them. It's still going to be pretty dangerous, and we might die in the process. But if you want to see a full guide on where to find plant species X seeds in the Crystal Isles map, check out the link in the description because we have a whole guide about that. But this episode should be a lot of fun. If you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring that bell to enable all notifications because we are going to continue this series and should have a lot more episodes coming out really soon. So let's get started. Alright, so before we get started, we are going to build a little bit of stone structures because our goal today is to go on an expedition out into the jungle area, and from there we're going to launch out on a couple of different missions to try to gather some really important supplies for the rest of our adventure. And the first thing we're going to try to get is plant species X seeds, and those things are really hard to get. You have to know exactly where to look, and usually they're very dangerous areas where you can get them. So I want to have a nice little storage box totally encased in stone structure so we can deposit all of the stuff we gather, and that way if we die or something like that we'll still be okay. So we're going to harvest a ton of stone, and as you can see here we are getting ridiculous amounts of stone with this Doedicurus, and this is why it was worth so much trouble to tame this Doedicurus so early on. Also, some of you guys might not know this, but Doedicurus move way faster in the water, so if you can get a Doedicurus swimming, you can actually swing your tail as you're moving and harvest stone like twice as fast. So it's actually a lot more effective to gather stone on a riverbank or something like that with a Doedicurus. But we've already got probably all the stone we're going to need for the entire mini outpost, and now we need to grab some thatch, and Doedicurus are actually great at getting thatch too. So as you can see here, we can get thatch really quickly this way, and we'll grab our beaver real quick and use that to get all the wood that we need. And as you can see, beavers are crazy at harvesting wood, and normally you have to be like level 60 something to ride them so you can actually make the saddle. But we have this nice little trick where if we park our beaver next to a tree, he's going to automatically harvest all the wood we need, and we don't even have to use a saddle. So in just a couple of minutes, like literally a couple of minutes, we are going to have all the materials we need for our outpost, and we'll be ready to head out to the jungle. Also, before we head out, I almost forgot, I'm going to place a couple of thatch foundations around our base because those will block any creatures from respawning in this area. And I didn't think there was anything dangerous that could spawn up here, but somehow Emmy Fisher seems to always have the really bad luck spawns, and she was telling me she actually had a Sarco spawn right up there in that pool. So I'm going to block that off just to make sure we don't have any surprise crocodiles come in and try to eat all of our dinos, because that would not be very fun. So I've got a couple foundations down, and I think if I put one more right about here, that should actually keep stuff from spawning around this whole area. And I'll go ahead and place that there because that's actually the bottom of the ramp that leads all the way up to our metal location. You can actually run a parasaur all the way up this ramp if you're careful. And having that foundation there will actually mark the base of that route and make it really easy to find next time. Alright, so I've made sure everything is all squared away. We've got all of our supplies on our Pteranodon. We made sure we fed all the baby dinos, and they're all doing just fine. So we're finally ready to head out on our expedition. Now, this is a pretty decent Pteranodon. It's got some pretty good stamina, so we should be able to fly for a decent distance, but we will be hopping from rock to rock as we head out in that direction. So if you look out in the distance, you can barely see... Oh, that's just a Pteranodon. Okay. I'm still keeping an eye out for Tropiognathus or any Tapeharas that we see out here, because I do want to tame some of those at some point, but we'll try not to get too distracted on this expedition. Oh, wow. So the beavers are back and they've already built 4 beaver dams. Wow, okay. So we're going to have to loot those pretty soon, trying not to get a little bit distracted yet, but we will go back out there in just a bit and we'll grab some nice cementing paste and silica pearls from those. And honestly, those beavers are going to be so helpful to have nearby because they will give us so many good resources. So off in the distance, you can see on the right-hand side is the desert, which has all of the dragons and some crazy stuff out there. Actually, the griffins are out there too. And we're heading out. You can see the green obelisk on the left-hand side. And to our right, you see all these plateaus with trees on them, and that's actually where we're headed. That's the jungle. And I'm just going to keep an eye out around here because we actually get a lot of crystal wyverns spawning around here. And this is actually a good place to look for Tropiognathus. Oh, whoa, check that out. That is a bright red pteranodon next to a bright red dragon. Now, we have to be careful with red dragons because that could actually be an alpha, but it could also just be a color variation because we have locked in the summer event. And I'm just going to double check. Okay, that is a tropical crystal wyvern, and wow, that is a beautiful one. Hopefully it won't despawn before we hit level 65 when we can actually tame that thing, because I would love to take that home and keep it. But we'll get to that eventually. So lots of bright colors, by the way, because we actually figured out how to lock in the summer event, and we've always got the summer bash colors on this server, at least for now. We could change that later, but I kind of love having all these awesome colors for our dinosaurs. Alright, so I'm going to have to stop again because we're just about out of stamina, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye out to see if there's anything really interesting that we'd need to tame around here, too. Lots of Sarcos around. We've got kind of a swampy area that we're in right now, and I actually saw some frogs down there, but doesn't look like anything too crazy right now, which is good. We don't want to get too distracted. Oh, got another wyvern down there, though. That's pretty cool. Alright. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun taming wyverns later, but for now, we're going to head up to the jungle, which is actually in this direction. So you can see these red crystals in the jungle. There's a lot of orange crystals in this other area that's kind of a, more Middle Eastern feel to it with all the palm trees, but hopefully I can make it most of the way to the jungle. Also, you can see that little island in the middle there, and to the left of the island is actually a really great place to get metal. We might have to check that out again later. Maybe we'll make a metal outpost out there because it's a great place to harvest that, but up here in the jungle is actually some really good metal deposits and obsidian, which is one of the things I am most excited about. So we're actually going to set up this outpost, and we can use it to collect obsidian, which we're going to need to make more cryopods. And eventually, I'd love to get all of our dinos into cryopods, so they're not just kind of hanging around outside. Ooh, what is that? Oh, pretty cool looking little tech parasaur. But it's getting chased by some stuff. There's some Sarcos down there. Don't really want to mess with that right now, even though it would give us some pretty good oil and electronics. Alright, these arms are going to really bother me. I've got my ghillie suit gauntlets that are just getting in the way of the map, but we'll show you this in a minute. This has got a ton of metal spawns down here right by the edge of the jungle. Like, that is all metal, and there's even more up here on these ledges. So I'm getting kind of low on stamina. I'll have to park for a second, but these areas around here would actually be great places for me to build a base and be able to collect tons of metal that way. Oh good, that's a Barosaur. That kind of freaked me out for a second. I think technically raptors could spawn up here. I don't know. There we go. So we'll take off these gloves, and now you can actually see the map, so I can show you where this spot is. But if you're looking for some good metal deposits right at the edge of the jungle, in the not as dangerous part, this is actually a great place for that. And you can get a lot of these metal with really easy access to this beach right down here. But also, if you follow this ledge a little further, it takes you up to a spot where you can build a nice little base up here. It kind of goes underneath, and there's a place you could easily wall off. But we're going to keep flying because I actually want to build my outpost right at the top of this highest plateau, because we do sometimes get aggressive wyverns in the jungle, and those things will kick our butts if they run into us. But hopefully we don't have any around here. great. Everything looks relatively clear. But this is going to be a really cool spot for an outpost. We have these cool red crystals and lots of metal actually right at the base of this waterfall. And looks like a little Dilo, nothing real dangerous right now, which is great. We do get a lot of Therizinosaurs, Carnos, and things like that up here. But the great thing about this jungle plateau is you can get anything dangerous to just chase you off a cliff, and then you're fine, as long as the dragons don't find you. Doesn't really help with something that can fly. So I think really just right on the edge here is going to be a great spot to build our little outpost, and that'll make it so we can easily spot it as we're flying around here, and we'll just use that for now as a little cache that will let us store whatever we need to. So we're just going to build a quick structure. This will be very simple. And I think we'll set the foundation like right on the edge of that cliff. I kind of like living on the edge, right? But it's actually pretty handy to have your base on the edge of a cliff, because sometimes if something's attacking you, it'll just kind of wander around your base. And if your base is on the edge of a cliff, it might just walk off the cliff, and then you don't even have to worry about it. So that's a great strategy for dealing with dangerous dinos that attack your base, is if you've got a nice little spot, you can just kind of lure them off the edge, then dino falls down and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, I think that's a loot drop back there. Not bad. So I'm going to put the storage box down before I place the ceiling, because for some reason, if you put the ceiling down and you've got clipping disabled, then you can't place the storage box because it's obstructed. But it has no problem whatsoever putting a storage box down and then putting a ceiling on top of it, even though the box will stick out the top. So for whatever reason that makes sense, that's what we're going to do, and that's going to keep it from giving us any trouble. So there we go. Got our nice little base with a storage box inside. We'll have plenty of stuff to put in there, and I completely forgot to bring a bed. Right now we don't have a good ladder going down to that plateau anyway, but eventually we'll build a ladder all the way down to the bottom, and we'll try to get an ankylosaur with a cryopod so we can use it to run down, harvest all the obsidian and metal that we need, and there's actually a lot of obsidian on this plateau. So this is actually the spot where we are, and we're going to be able to get crazy amounts of obsidian. But before we do that, we're going to head out and try to find some plant species X seeds. And this could end in death. It's actually extremely dangerous where we're going, but we're going to try it anyway, so we'll see if this works out. But first we'll check out this loot drop and see if I can actually open it right now. I think I'm too low level, but it's worth a try. And then we'll show you guys where to get plant species X seeds most easily and safely on the Crystal Isles. So we've got this little peninsula out on that map, and we'll show you a better view in just a second. But first we're just going to check this loot drop, and I'm pretty sure you have to be like level 60-ish to open these. Oh, level 60, yep. We're actually getting pretty close. Probably by the time we make a refrigerator and electronics, we'll actually be able to hit level 60 and do some really fun stuff. But the first thing I want to do is get some really good base defenses, and those plant species X turrets are just amazing for that, especially if we can get a dung beetle. So looks like we got a nice little red Dilophosaur, which I really don't mind. I'm not at all worried about Dilos, and even if he does bother me, I'll just get him to run off a cliff and then take this perch. So we're going to get all of our stamina back, because this little peninsula sticking out from the swamp area right next to the jungle is where we can get the most exposed and easy to find plant X seeds, and it looks like we have a alpha raptor. Great, just what we need. Yep. And he is tearing up some. Oh, great. Okay, so these are the Calicotheriums. I don't know. They'll actually throw stuff at me, so I got to be real careful. Oh, and he just completely lost interest, I guess. Yeah, make me look like a liar, right? So I pecked him, and he doesn't care. I've definitely had these things attack me in the air, so I'm being real careful, and they can actually do some pretty good damage and mess you up. But I need him to get over here and fight with these raptors to, first of all, keep the raptors busy so they don't eat me while I'm grabbing these plant X seeds. And secondly, I need him to not attack me. So yeah, let me see if I can hit the ground for a second. He seems to be not looking. Oh, there, yeah, now he can see me. Great. Okay, so I'm halfway out of stamina, which is really really bad already. And I need this guy to get away from that edge of the peninsula. There's also some compies I'm not really worried about. But we've got this Alpha Raptor, which is going to be really bad if I can't get him distracted. Because he can come in really fast, maybe pounce us off our mount. Okay, so I've got to almost touch the ground with my back to the Alpha Raptor, and I never like putting my back to a raptor. This is really, really nerve-wracking. Oh gosh, and if I touch the water, I'm going to jump off, and I'll definitely die. I also saw a Sarco back in the background, so yeah, there's a crocodile over here. Basically, every square inch of this peninsula has something that's going to try to eat me. Oh, good, okay. So that raptor is fighting the Calicotherium. We're in good shape there. Let me see if I can drop down, see if that Alpha Raptor's still busy. Okay, looking around, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Okay, great. So these big pink flowers are plant species X seed pods, and we can get a ton of seeds from those. I've actually got the default gathering settings on right now, and we just got like 40 seeds. That's going to be more than enough. Huh, looks like that little red dilo fell off the cliff. So that is where you get plant species X seeds if you want the best chance of surviving. And as you can see, that was still a bit nerve-wracking, but we were able to clear out some space and grab one of those seed pods. And I don't think we're going to need more than 40 turrets. Each seed grows one turret, and we'll actually be planting them in a garden and basically growing them in large crop plots, just like a regular plant. And we'll show you guys how to do that later. But for now, mission accomplished. We have pulled it off, and we got our very own 38 plant species X seeds. And that is pretty awesome. So that's going to basically make us to where we can build base defenses that'll make us pretty much invincible from anything that attacks us. And they will also automatically shoot down anything around. And that's going to get us an infinite supply of meat. And most importantly, spoiled meat, which will get us an infinite supply of tranquilizers. And let me give you a better view. We are just about right on top of this, and now that's where that is on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, no, stop, stop. Oh, okay. That was terrifying. I'm using a new computer. I'm using a new keyboard, and, wow, that really shook me up there. I almost fell to my death. I almost jumped out of the Pteranodon and landed right on top of all those Alpha Raptors down there. If the fall didn't kill me, I'm sure the Raptors would have. But I think I slightly bumped the E key, which is right next to the W key. So instead of going forward, I jumped off. I gotta get used to that, because that's gonna be a real problem if I don't get used to that quick. So this new keyboard is slightly off from the other one that I was using, and it's just a little bit different key alignment, which means it's not too hard to accidentally jump off my Pteranodon. Whew. Alright, well hopefully that won't happen again. But the next thing we're going to do, this is probably actually a great place to wrap this up for now, because we're about to head on another expedition to try to get a bunch of chitin to make more Pteranodon saddles, and we're going to try to tame a dung beetle, which will help us get infinite ammunition for our plant species X turrets, and all the fertilizer we need to grow tons of vegetables for taming herbivores. So it's going to be extremely helpful to have a dung beetle, and in the next episode we'll show you how to get one. The only trouble is the places where you can find dung beetles tend to be infested with things with tyrannosaurs and raptors, things like that, so it's going to be a very dangerous expedition. And I'm actually currently hanging out in the swamp to recover my stamina, because the swamp is the safest place. Never thought I'd say that, right? But it's going to get crazy out there on the savannah. So be sure to watch the next episode. We'll have a lot of fun trying to tame some dung beetles. And oh, I'm already seeing a purple dung beetle, which looks awesome. And I cannot wait to try to tame this thing. So our next episode should be a lot more interesting, and we're going to be cheating death several times trying to tame this dung beetle. And make sure you watch that next time. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to enable all notifications. Otherwise, it might not actually tell you when that next episode comes out. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and drop a comment and let us know what you thought. And if you have any suggestions for things that we can do while we're out in this area. And we'd love to hear how your Crystal Isles adventures are going too. So until next time, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video.
If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media so your friends can enjoy it too.
And make sure you subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have lots of awesome new guides, tips, tricks, live streams, and let's plays for Ark and other awesome games coming soon, and you won't want to miss any of that.
We already have lots more fun and helpful videos just like this one, so check out the links at the end of this video to keep watching. You can also chat with other gamers if you join our channel's Discord at the link in the description.
If you want to earn great rewards while supporting this channel, click the join link next to the subscribe button for more information about our channel memberships. We want to give a big thank you to some of our biggest supporters of this channel: Sabo0283, Cole Parmenter, Emmy Fisher, Wolfgirl Be Like, Kelly Razak, and Ashley Owens. Thank you all so much for everything you do to make this channel possible.
So until next time, we hope you have fun on your own video game adventures, and we will see you in our next video.